I'm buying a portfolio of schools so I can homeschool my other kid. Look, we're buying this $9 million portfolio and we're gonna be all in for $6 million, creating a $3 million profit. This 109,000 square foot portfolio is inclusive of 2 schools that were converted to affordable housing. One is senior housing and one is LIHTC, low income housing tax credits. In this video, we'll share with you how to find a deal, why you should act like a doctor when inspecting the property in the neighborhood, and how do you determine if it's a deal or no deal. Let's go. We're in Louisville. Had to stop and get my famous Waffle House first, right? Get my day started, but we came up to Louisville to check on this 130 unit affordable housing project. Pretty great deal. Actually, one of my students bought it. Like literally, I'm gonna say this over again, but real estate is so easy, even your grandma can do it. Like literally, one of my students, they're 84 years young and they found this deal leveraging off their own existing skill set. They took the knowledge I gave them, they implemented, and after doing some cold call, they found a buyer. I drove up to Louisville, which is about an hour and a half from me, to see about the deal. So now we got my man Tank. He's gonna show us around, show us some ins and outs of the building. You know, he's gonna help us dissect some of the problems. Like, because you'll hear me say, like, when you go inspect the property, you should be like a doctor when you inspect the property. Like, we gotta find all the symptoms, all the problems, and then make prescriptions, create structures and systems so we can resolve the problems and remove all the pain points by prescribing certain systems. All right, so let's go check this out. One of the key things you gotta do is inspect the sewer lines, and what you do is camera them, because there you can see where all the busted lines are, which could be a major cost if you miss that and you have a backup. Backup happens when a tree stump grows into the line, or they put unflushable items going into the sewer line, which calls a backup. And then next thing you know, you're out in the middle of the yard digging it up at a $5,000 cost with all these different backhoes. So that's why one of the reasons you inspect the guts like a doctor. So one of the things we check, like, are we gonna do a lipstick on the pig or do a major makeover? Lipstick on the pig is where you just really clean the stuff up. If that was the case on this floor, we probably won't replace it, right? Because there's no noticeable tears. See, it's just dirt and all this can be cleaned up. If that's the case, this unit can be cleaned and we can just touch up paint. I'm not a fan of these ceilings, right? The lay-in ceilings. But you could spend time putting drywall. If you put drywall, you probably got like 5 boards, and 5 boards is $40 a board. That's $200. Then you got to hang it, then you got to frame it. I mean, but you can finish $500 on the ceiling, or you can leave the ceiling right here. But the biggest thing is just got a lot of space and just some minor repairs. So this one we would probably clean up. And then a few years later, when we get another grant from the low income tax credit, then we'll do a major overhaul, the big makeover, right? When it comes to renovation for your multi-family property, look, don't overthink it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you can wash and clean, don't try to get in between and change the scene. Let it stay the same. Save your money and wait for the big ticket items that has to be fixed that actually affect your income, that'll generate the revenue. For example, this bathroom, there's no noticeable tears, right? Now there's some minor stains here where we could buff or wax. The cabinet is not beat up. The wood is still good. I mean, it's not worth changing you gotta understand your market. Because this is affordable housing, I'm gonna get the same rent regardless. We just need to make sure we have a clean and efficient, safe place for people to reside in. So this is mold that came, but that's probably from the leak that they had when they had a flood. This could be surface mold and we could wipe it off. It looks like some of it is wiping off. A lot of times people just use bleach. You can wipe that down and then use some bleach, clean it off, and then you're gonna paint it with Kills and then paint it back to the old color. The only way it could be bad is if it's inside the wall. And sometimes if it's really flooded, they do what they call a dry cut, and they cut up about a foot off the ground, and they'll replace all of that drywall. But I don't think this is that intense to do. I think that can be wiped down and just treated. And then we need to clean this carpet. So all of that happened from this sump pump not functioning properly. They actually kind of put things back together. They bought a new one. I'll show you all that water came because they had real big storms and the water came and then the pump failed and it just flooded everywhere. Now, fortunately for them, they immediately dealt with it. They pumped the water out. As you can see here, they pumped it outside. They got everything fixed and treated right away. So therefore, mold really couldn't set in. What you saw out there was just a little aftermath, but not enough for it to, really start removing anything. Here's another sub pump that, failed. Now look at it. I don't have to tell you, just look at it. It's just old and rotten. It was just time. So one of the things, that's called preventative maintenance. You just need to go around and check all your items and put a list together that you guys check quarterly or annually. So if you do get another big storm, things don't fail and you don't flood everything out. That's one of the things why you have to be the doctor. You do annual checkups. By doing a preventative maintenance list, it's basically doing a checkup on your patient, on your real estate. And you can avoid things like this, right? After inspecting this building, the two things that really stand out, those the roofs and these windows. One of the things, although it works, it's not really appealing. They have these old school windows that need replaced, but it's very costly. But what's saving it is they have these storm windows on inside, which are really efficient, as you can see in here. That keeps all the air out. But the facade, this doesn't match the moral fabric of the community. These windows need to be replaced, but it's so costly. I would probably want to work a grant. And overall, it's not going to change the amount of rent we're going to get. Taking care of the roof, that's something we need to spend our money on. So for right now, we won't fix these windows because, again, they already have the storm windows, which is keeping the air out. So it's very efficient inside. And actually keeping these here helps reduce some of the energy that gets out. Okay, so we came to inspect the roof and check the condition units. This is a little rusted out, so those are probably going to need to be replaced. Remember, we want to be the doctor. And we're also checking out the roof. And wait a damn minute. I need to inspect the tenants. What the? That's when you know you're in the hood. Now, although they've tarred and sealed, and they kind of did what they call this gecko paint, it creates a seal, but at some point, this is gonna need to be replaced. But the big thing is you want to just make sure there's no holes. For what I understood, you'll see how they kind of tarred here again, because there were cracks and seepage. And here's the mop where they were using to kind of tar the roof again. Before they had a lot of satellites in here and putting holes, and they kind of patched it. That's one thing you can't let happen, letting them put holes in the roof. That's gonna cause major problems. I mean, these little tiny holes will cause major problems. Now, it may not be leaking right now. You're gonna have to budget for this roof. Roofs are charged by the square. At minimum, a fair price is $300 to $400 a square, and that's labor. You probably got another $200 in material. So literally, you could spend $500 a square in roofing. So every 100 square feet is equal to 1 square yard. This is probably at least 20 square yards. So 20 square yards times 500 square foot. I mean, this is like a $10,000 section. I think it'll probably be more than that because you're gonna have to look, you gotta put boots, you gotta reseam. They got the drip edges. It's fine for now, but you just wanna budget for it, because what happens if the roof goes bad and you try to take it out of cash flow, it will destroy your P&L, your profit and loss. Look, I don't even have to run this, but you can see it's rusted. These fans are smaller. It's in 3 to 5 years, these are going to need to be replaced. So you want to put a budget in for that as well. Remember, being a doctor, doing a routine maintenance checkup, and put a projected timeline or a budget to determine what needs to be replaced. What are your biggest concerns after kind of walking through this?
My biggest concern would be roofs.
And why roofs?
You can see where there's been damage in the walls that have been fixed and repaired multiple times. So you can tell that the roofs have definitely been patched multiple times. So it's just a matter of time. It's kind of like...
we just, when we came, it was our biggest problem. And we had someone to re-rubberize the entire roof. And it costed us some money. Because what it was, the old owner, I guess he was letting them do satellite. So they would drill into a rubber roof. It's just like with a flat tire, We had to get the roof re-rubberized and the gutters fixed. That was our biggest concern when we first came, because we were dealing with a lot of roof leaks. and a lot of gutter problems.
Yeah, I mean, because roofs could be a big cost. Like I don't even know how many square we got here, but I'm just gonna say, first of all, a roof at minimum, if you getting a deal, that's $300 a square, but it could charge up to $800 a square for a rubber roof. So 15, 20 square. So 20 square times 300, 6,000, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this thing is humongous. On a building like this, you easily could spend over 200,000 fixing a roof. You know you're in the hood when you got all these foggers in here and they literally dropping the bomb. All these different foggers, like they got them everywhere, man. So in order to determine what type of neighborhood you're in, you got to be able to read it like a report card. A stands for appreciation, right? You get a lot of it. You got low crime rate, great schools, and a lot of business development. And the affordability may not be there. B stands for both. You kind of got cash flow and appreciation. It's still more home ownership than it is renters. Where C is more cash flow, and those are probably neighborhoods that have more renters than they actually have owners. Now D stands for drama and disruption. Like those tenants are a little disruptive, they got high maintenance, and they cause a lot of drama, like police calls, more crime. And F neighborhood stands for, man, you're an F'd up. People's lives are like this safe. Like everything they're looking for, everything they want is all in this safe. Like the $1 million, financial freedom, freedom to live wherever you want, the freedom of your time. And they have the numbers to the safe, but they don't have the right combination. And because of that, they'll never unlock the safe. It's not till you get with people in proximity with other people that can help you, and they'll give you the combination, and you'll be able to crack the code. They'll open up to the $1 million, to the financial freedom, and the freedom of time, and the freedom to live wherever you want. Yeah, everybody says finding deals are so hard. Man, look, finding real estates are so easy, even my grandma can find them. We found this deal cold calling. What is it like to cold call?
Oh, cold call is very easy. It's like hugging a snowman, and it's very cold and stiff until I warm up.
So what kind of strategies you use to warm people up?
Well, you have to be nice and polite, right? Very respectful. Also, they notice that you're asking the correct questions because you are kind of knowledgeable and you wanted them to feel comfortable with the questions that you ask. You are not too pushy, no? And you are not too slow either. So you have to have a nice combination.
Yeah, and what's amazing about you come in with a little bit of authority, right? You don't sound like a cold call because you're like so friendly, they feel like they know you. That's why you get success. Now,
It's how I call you.
exactly. Like when you call,
know you.
but when you call, it's like you already know everybody, and so they don't want to hang up the phone. Her personality is one of her strong points. Now, she has done cold calling in the past, because you used to do that for, what was that you used to sell? You did marketing? Amway.
I opened in Mexico.
Yeah, she did Amway in Mexico.
Legal Shield.
So she did Amway and Legal Shield. So all she did was leverage her skill sets with different knowledge that we gave. Stop focusing on what you don't have. Leverage on the resources you do have to get to the next level.
Even that my English is not perfect, but once when you know what are you looking for and ask the right questions, and then let the people to answer you, and as you would like to help them as much as they wanted to help you. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, it's a win-win combination.
So overall, you're saying it helped me to help you
Yeah,
serve people and help provide a service, because there's people out there that don't even know they got a problem. They want to sell their property because it's a problem property.
yeah.
And by you responding, helping them sell their property, you're providing a service. So don't be scared to call people. Some people don't even know they're ready to sell until you call them. Yo, thanks for hanging out, man. We had an amazing day. If you like what you heard today, make sure you subscribe, comment, and share. And look, I'll be sharing more information like this with you. Peace.